What's going on, guys? This is me, Pokeboy God 18, and today we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be taking all of my Great League Pokemon that I've built specifically for this league in my entire Pokemon Go career and putting them all on a spin the wheel challenge and making sure that we can get all of them filled in this video. I originally took this inspiration for a challenge against people like Kim on Toast, and I'm pretty sure Jonkus Pokemon has made some too. So if you don't mind checking out their channels, they have pretty good content as well. But for now, let's just hop into the battles. Alright, spinning the wheel, first off we got Shadow Sneasler, next we've got Shadow Abomasnow, and Shadow Golem. Now let's see how good we can get this team against. First game, we've got Shadow Sneasler against Feraligatr. Not the best lead because even though we do win CMP, they can still one-shot us with a Hydro Cannon. We're going to catch their Hydro Cannon onto the Abomasnow, and they fortunately swap into a flying type that we can still put up a lot of work against. The only reason why this is a bad matchup for the Abomasnow, you're considering type advantage and stuff like that, is because even though Abomasnow has that ice typing, plus the spammy Weather Ball damage, and its shadow bonus, all the Manabus has to do is commit a shield, and it'll be good to win this matchup. Even if I commit the shield, well, if I commit the shield, I can probably get the Powder Snow farm down. But now we're in a bit of a trouble, because this Manabuzz is still pretty healthy. I come into the Sneasler, try to get some damage off. We get a little bit of frame drops. We're going to catch this next Aerial Ace, that way we don't have to commit the shield. And we're going to try as much as we can to get this aggressive Mudshot farm down. They don't even farm up to their Dark Pulse or their Foul Play. Do we get the farm down? Yes, we do. They're going to come back into the Feraligatr, going for this risky Ancient Power bait right here. Do we get the shield? We grab the shield. And of course, Golem is going to win CMP, but they don't go for the move. Earthquake is going to be one-shotting this Feraligatr, but now we're in even more trouble because they were running Double Flyer. Gligar is going to destroy this Sneasler's HP. We're going to go for the Aerial Ace, farm up as much Shadow Claws as we can, and go for the Ghost Combat as soon as we're about to die. Does the Close Combat KO? Of course it does. It's a Shadow Sneasler, and we take that game. Next battle, we've got Skarmory, Magcargo, and Meganium. I arranged it a little bit differently so that I could have better alignment and stuff like that, but so far it's not looking too good for this Magcargo. We're going to fully sacrifice it against the Jellicent Surf, and then come into our Meganium because it's our only strong response to this water type. We're going to shield this next Shadow Ball, keep farming up energy because we want to make sure that they don't catch, and we want to have enough energy for wherever they have in the back. We're going to go for this Frenzy Plant. Hopefully they no shield here, and they do. Now they're going to come into a Gligar now, and we're going to just catch this next Aerial Ace instead of throwing energy, because I figured they would be going straight for it. Catching it onto the resisted Skarmory, and they have a Flygon in the back. Now, if it was something else other than another ground type, we would probably be losing. But now, we can probably input some shield pressure here. Going for the Sky Attack first, that way we don't debuff our defense. Sky Attack grabs the shield, and remember, we still have the Meganium with a bunch of energy, and we will not die to the Scorching Sands. What I was expecting is that I can go for this Brave Bird, they're going to double shield, and then we could just farm down with the Meganium, but instead they let that go. So what I'm going to do now is come back into the Meganium as fast as possible, go for this Frenzy Plant to grab the shield, and then get some more damage off. We get a little bit of frame drops, but that's okay. We're going to be able to outpace the Gligar, even if they won't be able to get the farm down either, because they're going to go for this Aerial Ace. They only have enough, they don't even have enough for the next Aerial Ace, because we caught their first move. So now we can go for this next Frenzy Plant, pick up the knockout, and take that game, despite the horrible lead. Next game, we've got Spark Lantern with Shadow Abomasnow and Slurpuff in the back. Lantern's picking up a pretty decent lead considering it's a Powder Snow Lumen Sandslash. And we're going to let this first Drill Run go through. Not the bait, just going to be the Drill Run, going straight for the Surf. Trying to get some easy damage off because this team is kind of core broken to it. Abomasnow doesn't really want to see it. Even with shields up, Slurpuff is not doing good, even with that flamethrower coverage. We're going to shield up this Ice Punch, just trying to save her some health for later, and they swap into their Water Gun Lantern. And now this is why Abomasnow is going to be outputting so much damage here. Going to be going super positive in this matchup, farming up to 100 energy and still being able to pick up the knockout. Energy Ball one-shots the stupid Lantern. They're probably going to come back into the Sandslash, and that is what they do. They're going to go for a full farm down, because even if they have to throw a move here, because we're going to reach 2 Weather Balls, so that farm down was not going to be very helpful because now they're down 2 shields. But this Sandslash is still pretty healthy. I'm going to come into the Slurpuff. They anticipate me coming into the Lantern again, but now this is a winning matchup for me. I have a shield for the Frenzy Plant. All I have to do is farm up a little bit more energy, that way I have enough to throw against that Sand Slash. Flamethrower does not KO, so I have to snipe with the Lantern. And even though my Lantern is low, it won't be enough for the Sand Slash to farm down because they have Powder Snow and not Shadow Claw. They are forced to throw energy here, and now we can go for our own flame. Oh, Energy Ball BM. My bad, folks. Energy Ball takes out the Sand Slash, and that's a good game. Next up, we've got Beedrill, Crobat, and Victini in the next game. Victini picks up the perfect lead against Cresselia. You'd love to see it. We can farm up so much energy, just wait for them to throw. That way we don't have to debuff our defense first. We're going to let this move go through. Everything is resisted. They're going to go for a Future Sight. We're going to go for our V-Create first. Don't want to debuff our attack with Overheat. And anyways, I'm pretty sure 2 V-Creates will typically pick up the knockout anyways. Go for the second V-Create. It doesn't pick up the knockout, but I go for the Snipe. Hopefully we should be able to live anything but the Future Sight. So what happened there was I thought I blanked out or something, and then I caught their Future Sight onto the super effective Beedrill, and now we're in a pretty bad spot. Even if we had gotten that Snipe, it would have been bad because they have the Skeleturge with fire type damage, but now our Crobat is in an even worse spot because now we are forced to 2-shield because our Victini does not want to see that thing. So we're gonna farm up so much energy, go for the back-to-back Poison Fangs. Hopefully they have something we can beat with Victini in the back, and it's gonna be for Alligator. So all we need them to do is just shield this Poison Fang and then go for an Overheat. Do we get the shield? No, we don't. So unfortunately, this is gonna be a good game. I just misplayed that swap against the Beedrill there, so we'll take that. Next game, we've got Shadow Skuntank with Ivysaur and Mantine. Skuntank leads into an Azumarill, and the opponent instantly forfeits. So I wanted to run that team again just to make sure it got a little bit of play, and you're going to really love this game. Picking up the worst lead possible, unlike the Azumarill, we're going to go straight for this crunch here, trying to get the debuff because our backline's only response to this Bastiodon is the Ivysaur. We do not get the debuff, so this is going really horribly for us. We're just going to sack the Skuntank. We don't know what they have in the back. Now we're going to come into this Ivysaur here. We're going to farm up a bunch of energy. For some reason, they swap into their Whimsicott, and this actually opens up a huge win con because I can totally read their team now. If it's going to be the Whimsicott with Razor Leaf, it's not going to be some skilled team with the Bastiodon. It's going to be the Shadow Victory Belt in the back. And now I know my win con. I have to take out this Bastiodon and keep my Ivysaur alive. So how I do that? I use a shield, farm up to the next Power Whip, hopefully grabbing the shield. No, they let it go. They think that their backline is going to do good against my Mantine, but Mantine is just so bulky, and they're not even going to be able to farm me down in time, and they're going to lose with 2 shields. So we take that game despite the horrible lead. Next game, we've got Jellicent on the lead versus Skarmory, pretty good lead, and we've also got Escavalier and a Shadow Piloswine in the back. Jellicent here is just going to farm up energy, just waiting for them to Brave Bird since I've already farmed up so much, but we get there first. So first they're going to shield, which is kind of odd because they could have no-shielded first, but now they're going to be retaliating with their Brave Bird. They do a huge bait right here, grabbing my shield with the Sky Attack, then they're going to go for the Brave Bird. That's a huge play by them. I can keep over farming, go for the Shadow Ball. I don't want to get farmed down, so we do take the leaded matchup, but they have a pretty good energy lead with this Lantern here, and that is a pretty big core breaker to our backline. Because even though Piloswine is a ground type, it's got ice type moves, which I resisted to Lantern's typing. Even though we're ground type, that Surf did so much damage, but they no-shield the high horsepower, going through the shield, probably expecting a bait, and now we have a win con. They have a Shadow Quagsire in the back. The Quagsire is going to go for the Aqua Tail. We're not going to go for Drill Run. We're going to go for Acid Spray. The reason why I'm running Acid Spray is because the counter damage in cups like Fossil, I think Mountain Cup, I don't know. A bunch of cups where this thing was allowed, counter was just doing so much more damage. Stuff like Lucario, all that good stuff. So now we're going to be able to debuff their defense and then get enough counter damage as possible. But anyways, we would make the Avalanche, so we take that game. In the next one, we're getting Stunfisk. A bunch of these pop-up ads coming in. Sorry about that, folks. Getting the low battery percentage and a great lead with Stunfisk into the Mantine. The Stunfisk is going to come in here, go for this Discharge. Stunfisk is gonna no-shield this Ice Beam here because we know we can survive it. It's actually gonna be a Water Pulse, so that's kind of interesting. We're gonna try and bait out something in the back that's super effective against our Stunfisk. Annihilape's gonna be coming in right now. Going for the Night Slash. We can grab the shield with the Shadow Ball here. If they let this go, this will absolutely one-shot, so they're forced to shield here. And we also have another Ghost type in the back that can handle this Annihilape. We're going to shield the Shadow Ball because we need to preserve at least one more Pokemon and not let our Stunfisk carry the entire team. They might be able to make another Night Slash here, so I'm forced to go for this Icy Wind, and they have a Registeel in the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snipe with this Mud Bomb, hopefully get some damage off. We actually grabbed the shield, so that's pretty good. They're going to come back into the Mantine. They don't have a Water Pulse yet, so I can no-shield this Aerial Ace. They won't be able to farm me down. We're going to go straight for this Mud Bomb here. Mud Bomb's going to take out the resisted damage with the Mantine here. Stunfisk is still going to be able to reach the Mud Bomb on 1 HP, get them really low, and the opponent makes a huge play right here. They're going to go for the double resisted Focus Blast bait, and it works. Does Drifloon Shadow Ball pick up the knockout here? We're going to have to see. It's going to be really close. 1 Hex away, and we take the game. Into the next game here, we've got Pidgeot, Shadow Drapion, and a Lowland Graveler. So Pidgeot picking up a pretty good lead against the Venusaur here. Opponent is forced to swap out. I don't really have a good counter for this, so I'm going to stay in, shield the move, and go for the Feather Dance. That way I can have a little bit better of a time against this Dragonair here. Feather Dance doesn't pick up the shield. That's a really good call by the opponent here. But now that they're debuffed, this Aqua Tail won't be able to KO. So I can no-shield this. I can farm up to back-to-back Rock Blast and still won't be able to die from these Dragon Breaths. Gonna pick up this shield here. I'm assuming the opponent's just gonna let this go, but I assumed that they would just no-shield at the first one, but now we're shield up, and this is really good for us because they're also debuffed, and we can still farm them down, have energy for whatever they have in the back, and they have Lickitung. So the Shadow Dragonair was their only response to Pidgeot. So now we can come into Shadow Drapion here and just clean up this game really nicely. Drapion's going to go for the Crunch here. Going to be able to do significant damage against this Venusaur here. We're going to shield this Frenzy Plant because this is the only move that's going to be doing more damage than any other move in the end game. Aqua Tail's going to be coming through. I didn't want them to reach another Frenzy Plant. And now we can just go for a Crunch, and that's going to secure the dub. GG's opponent. Next game, we've got Oranguru, Runerigus, and Sarina. So this is going to be a really, really spicy team to run. We've got Oranguru into Annihilate, the perfect lead right here. The opponent's going to go straight for the Night Slash. This will be hitting for super effective damage. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to get the farm down here. Yeah, it looks like they can. So we're just going to go for the Foul Play. Doesn't matter what the Trailblazer is going to do here. We're still going to be able to get some damage off. And we did grab that shield. So we can just let the Oranguru go down now. We're going to come into our Serena because it's going to be really hard to get energy on this Pokemon. So I wanted to give it an energy lead. And it pays off because if we had brought in that Runerigus, we would have had a little bit of trouble dealing with this Dragonair. But now that we found the Triple Axle, they have a Carbink in the back. And now that the Dragonair is low, Runerigus can just sweep this endgame. We're just going to spam these Sand Tombs. The Carbink can do absolutely nothing with this because we have 2 shields up and their fast moves are resisted, and Runerigus is actually kind of bulky in the scenarios like this. We're going to shield up their Moonblast. They still have a shield left, so we don't know when they're going to use it. We're going to farm up to back-to-back Sand Tombs here. One of these should be picking up the knockout. They use the shield first here. And the second one doesn't even pick up the knockout. They're at 1 HP. And now things are going to get really close because the Dragonair is still healthy. We won't be able to get the farm down, but we reach the Sand Tomb in time. And we're able to pick up this game with 1 more Shadow Claw on the Carbink. And Runerigus is still staying alive. I didn't want to include Mightyena because I didn't want to use TMs to get my Mightyena, like, what does it have? All Fang moves. So I just skipped that one. I went with Shadow Sneasler against this Confusion Shadow Girafarig with Victini and my own Girafarig with Double Kick. So Victini is going to grab the first shield here. The opponent sends in Wigglytuff, so this has got to be some kind of fast move pressure team. I throw in really, really awkward timing, but it pays off because we're going to go for this Overheat. They don't shield it. Wigglytuff gets nearly one shot, and because they're on Confusion with the Girafarig, we're going to be able to make another V-Create. Grabbing both shields and switch advantage. Victini putting in so much work here. I assumed the opponent was going to go straight Psychic Fangs here, so I'm going to let that go through. This will probably be a Thunderbolt or a Trailblaze. Nope, just another Psychic Fang. And it looks like it was some kind of fast move pressure, except their Trophius is on Air Slash. All I have to do is go for the Psychic Fangs, that way I can make sure this Aerial Ace can get the KO. They didn't even farm up to their own Aerial Ace, so I can just let this Leaf Blade go through. We need to save the shield for at least the Giraffe Rex moves. Aerial Ace will be picking up the Trophius' KO. Shadow Sneasler gets one tapped, but that's totally fine. We can go for our own Psychic Fangs, and because our Giraffe Rex is on double kick, we will be able to outpace the next move and take that game. Next spin the wheel, we've got Obstagoon, Licky Licky, and Scizor. This is my Obstruct Obstagoon, that's why it's shiny, and you saw those parentheses in there. But anyways, in the Scizor lead, we've got Azumarill on us. And Scizor has a pretty good type advantage matchup, but Azumarill can still put up so much damage. And even though we have the better type advantage, Scizor is still going to be really, really glassy in this scenario. But the good news for us is that they don't use any shields. So we're going to comfortably take that matchup, even down with a shield. I'm going to bank all this energy and swap into my Obstagoon because I know I have two answers to the Trevenant. And for some reason, they're staying in. This gives me a tell that they might be super weak to the Obstagoon in the back, so I'm immediately going to go for this Obstruct, trying to raise my defense. We grab the shield, which is even better, because now we can just go straight for this Night Slash. We don't need to go for Obstruct anymore. Now that it's even shields, we can just force this last shield off. The opponent's trying desperately to get rid of this Obstagoon, so I'm assuming they have another Ghost type in the back. We're just going to let this go, because we have Licky Licky that can handle any Ghost type. We're going to come into the Licky Licky, and the opponent swaps into a Kofagrigus, and there was no way that it was going to win these matchups. So, that was kind of algorithm from the team here. So, this game is already pretty set. They're going to go for the Psychic. They don't even get the debuff. And they're going to go for the Seed Bomb. I wanted to swap and just go for an Iron Head on them right here. They're going to go for the Seed Bomb. We're going to go for this Iron Head. Undercharge it, just BM him. Sorry upon that algorithm, but we do take that game. Next game here, we've got Shadow Typhlosion, Shadow Granbull, and Shadow Nidoqueen. Typhlosion picking up a pretty good lead against the Empoleon, as long as it's not on Waterfall, and it looks like they're not, because it swapped into a Shadow Dragonite, and I can already tell what kind of team this is. This is going to be Shadow Empoleon, double Dragon Breath. So they're going to have a Shadow Dragonair in the back, so I have to play this out really carefully. I'm going to come back into I'm going to wait switch and then come back into my Typhlosion. Now I can have a better time with my switch clock, because they are a little bit misaligned because Incinerate is 5 turns. I'm going to go for this Thunder Punch here. We're already at back-to-back, which means we're already going to be forcing a lot of shields here. They're going to shield it even when they're low, and they're going to catch the next Thunder Punch onto their Dragonair. And all we have to do is just ramp up this Poison Jab damage with our Shadow Nidoqueen, and we can be able to take this game. Gonna grab the last shield with the Poison Fang, because that's the only thing that can put the shield on. We're gonna shield this Aquatail. All we need to do is just get this Dragonair out of the way, and we're already in a great spot to win this game. The Empoleon is forced to throw a move, or they will get taken out by the Poison Jab, and instead they choose to get taken out by the Incinerate. So that's gonna be a GG. Next game, we've got Shadow Quagsire with Dugong and my Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Shadow Quagsire picking up a pretty decent lead, also neutral in some scenarios, especially with baits and shield calls. They're going to swap into the Wigglytuff here, and I waited a little bit too long on my switch, and because my Sandslash is not on Powder Snow, this is actually a losing matchup for me. But I'll take this anyway, because I know for a fact that we can grab at least one shield or switch advantage, even by no shielding this move. So, I'm going to go for the Ice Punch here. It doesn't matter which move I go for, it's going to be doing some damage here. We're going to pick up the shield, which I'm going to gladly take. I'm going to come back into the Quagsire, go for this Aquatail, and it looks like they're going to let that go through. They come back into the Charger Bug, throwing this X-Scissor. I need to keep my Quagsire alive, because this functions like a core, and if they have a Grass type in the back, this is the only Pokemon that can help me, because it's the only one with energy. And they don't have a Grass type, they have an Annihilate in the back, and they make the beautiful Stone Edge catch. But I'm forced to go for double Aquatails, and this is still a good matchup for me, because this thing is just so spammy and outputs so much damage that we can just come into our Dugong now and get the full farm down. What I have to be careful of is letting that Charjabug get a lot of energy. So I'm going to wait a couple turns, make sure that the counter damage is registered, and I'm still able to make this Icy Wind to debuff their attack. So that way the Volt Switches won't be doing too much damage. I need to make one more Aqua Tail here. We're going to shield this X-Scissor. It looks like it was CMP tie, and it was CMP tie. Does the Aqua Tail pick up the knockout against the Charjabug? Yes, it does. And we're going to take that game. Into the next game, we've got, oh, it didn't show the first one. It was Azumarill, Breloom, and Shadow Golbat. So Azumarill is going to be picking up a pretty good lead here against the Talonflame. Talonflame's going to have a hard time flipping this matchup, especially without Brave Bird or something like that. But it looks like we're just going to no-shield the first move because Azumarill can tank anything against it. They're going to go for the Brave Bird. That debuffs their defense, allowing us to get the full farm down. They come into a Shadow Victory Bell. So I'm assuming it's going to be something like Bastion, which would be great for the backline to see. We're going to come into the Golbat, and they actually have a Medicham. So either way, the Golbat could have swept this endgame. The opponent forfeits, and we're going to take that game. Looks like we're going to come into the last game of the video here. I'm assuming, yeah. Okay, we've got Shadow Ampharos, Shadow Feraligatr, and Water Gun Lantern. Ampharos is going to go for the they're just going to overfarm actually. They're going to try and catch the Brutal Swing onto their Azumarill here. The difference between Water Gun Lantern and Spark Lantern, or I should probably say my Water Gun Lantern and my Spark Lantern, is that my Spark Lantern actually has way better IVs relative for Great League. So they're going to be, we actually got a little bit of lag there and they got a free bubble in. So they're going to be able to go for this Play Rough, and I'm forced to go for the Surf because it would have been a tied KO right there. So the Surf is going to get the Azumarill's KO. They're going to come back into the Dragonite. I don't want to come into my Feraligatr just yet because it's down energy and they can force a lot of shields. I'm going to go for this Brutal Swing, picking up the shield, and they swap and catch the Brutal Swing. They tried 2 Brutal Swing catches and only 1 worked. They're going to no-shield it onto the Shadow Lumen Sandslash. But Feraligatr is going to have a great time because this Shadow on Shadow Claw damage is going to be outputting a lot of damage, and they won't be able to make another move. That means we're come out with 2 Hydro Cannons, enough to take out the Dragonite, and that is just going to be good game. Next Hydro Cannon coming through, picking up the KO, and that's a GG. So, all in all, it was a pretty good video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I put in a lot of work trying to submit these battles. I might even do a part 2 because I know a lot of these Pokemon were not able to get featured. I will probably start recording again sometime this weekend, but the only time I can post is on weekends. So that's why I'm probably going to submit some to maybe Home Slice Henry or maybe Caleb Montos himself, see if he enjoys the content. But anyways, that's going to be all for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the next one.